Afternoons with Rob Breakenridge, 770 CHQR.
Welcome to this hour of the program. Much more still to come, by the way, regarding the big decision today on the Trans Mountain Pipeline. We'll have later in this hour at some point some audio available. The Prime Minister did an interview with Bloomberg News a little over an hour ago, and that's under an embargo for the time being, but that'll be made available a little bit later on. Also, Premier Notley joins Angela Kokott just after 4 o'clock today, 4:09 to be specific. So much more on that coming up. It is also here, of course, Radio Mayor's Day today, and you might have heard earlier today, the Mayor of Okotoks on with Danielle. Angela's going to chat with the Mayor of Cochrane. It's an opportunity for us to kind of shine a spotlight of what's going on in some of the next-door neighbors of the city of Calgary, and some of the unique challenges and advantages that these cities are dealing with. So an opportunity for us in this hour to learn a little bit more about the community directly to the north of Calgary, that being the city of Airdrie. And we're joined in studio by Peter Brown, the re-elected last year, I believe, Mayor of Airdrie. Peter, great to have you with us here. Welcome to the program.
Thrilled to be here, Rob. Thank you.
Right, so you're now in your second term as mayor, right? Re-elected last year?
Third
term now.
Does it
Thank
feel
goodness,
longer?
How the time flies, eh?
Yeah.
Well, that's good, and congratulations on that. So,
Thank you.
Let's start with a question we're putting to each of our mayors then, and an opportunity for you to talk about some of the biggest challenges that your community faces.
Well, for me, it's growth. So everything that we do, we've grown probably 7% over the last 10 years, and growth impacts everything from your business community, transportation networks, water and wastewater infrastructure, emergency services. It's just really dealing with growth and managing it in the appropriate way. And when you're chasing it, sometimes things slow down a little bit. And I know it's frustrating for some residents moving about the city, but for me personally, I think we've done a really good job of managing the growth so far, and we're continuing to look ahead and manage our assets in the appropriate way. And I think that the future looks great for Airdrie.
Has that growth slowed down? I mean, at one point, and for quite a while, I believe Airdrie was the fastest or one of the fastest growing communities in Alberta.
It was. I believe we're going to be somewhere between 4.5%, 5% on a guess again this year, which is
still pretty big.
Absolutely. Yeah. So new home sales have slowed a little bit, certainly in the last couple of years. It's a little flatter this year. Just a little uncertainty in the economy. I think that's contributing to that. But I think Airdrie's been really good at sort of managing themselves above some of the unrest in the economy that's happened throughout the province that we've experienced recently. And I think, again, 5% growth, it provides a lot of opportunity for businesses. It provides a lot of opportunities for our residents. But all those other contributing factors sometimes slows things down a bit.
Because I think well over 60,000 now, right?
We're going to be somewhere around 68,000, I think, once the census is done, yeah.
So, I mean, that's Medicine Hat size, that's St. Albert size.
I told Tara and Red Deer that we're going to be the third largest city in Alberta fairly quickly.
So, yeah, so growth has been a challenge, both in terms of ensuring there are places for people to live and, of course, servicing those communities, ensuring that there's schools, there's amenities for Airdrie residents. How have you tried to balance that then?
Well, I think we've developed some great relationships with the development community, and we look at our businesses in the community as true partners, and certainly as that grows, we have to make certain that we're all on the same page and developing the best community in the right way that's going to benefit our residents and be the most cost-effective over time to manage the infrastructure, and I believe we're doing that. There's always challenges as it relates to growth and those contributing factors, but as I said, I think for me anyway, we develop in the right way. We do the right things. We're a very open door organization, which I would say municipalities sometimes don't always have that moniker. And I would say that in Airdrie, we're small enough still that you can get a hold of the manager of planning and the manager of engineering and infrastructure and those types of things. And it goes well to make certain that we have those pieces in place to make a great community.
One area that's been an issue in Airdrie, and it's a provincial jurisdiction, is the question of health care and ensuring that there's adequate health care for Airdrie residents. There's the urgent care center that is now 24 hours.
Correct.
But that was a long battle for Airdrie, wasn't it?
It was a long battle, absolutely. It really was community driven. It was the whole issue around access to health care after 10 o'clock. in the evening and up until 8 in the morning. We had to travel to other jurisdictions to make that happen. And I'll give credit to Minister Hoffman for coming to our community, seeing firsthand the challenges in a healthcare center that had 9 beds at that time. We now have 13. That they saw it as an investment opportunity, and I think mid last year, 2017, that they opened it up 24 hours. So we're obviously thrilled about that, but there's a lot more work to be done. So the community has come together, and we've started something called the Airdrie Area Health Cooperative, and there's 3 key priorities. One is to develop and build a health park that's made for Airdrie. It's developed by the health professionals who live here and by the community. And we're going to have a digital health strategy. We applied for the Smart Cities Challenge. We're supposed to hear back on our application here on Friday. And the last piece, and we experienced Blue Zone last week. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, Rob, but Blue Zone communities are communities around the world that have the most centurions, people that live over 100. They extend the lives of individuals by an average of 3 to 5 years. And if you look at some of the statistics around Alberta and other places, our children are not going to live as long as us, and that's really not acceptable in any way. So we're looking at becoming the first Blue Zone certified community in Canada, and there's 47 of them in the U.S. right now. And again, just trying to merge toward getting out of the healthcare system and taking ownership of our own health, and that's really the most important key, because as you know, our healthcare system in Alberta is unsustainable, and we need to do what we can to not get into that system and take ownership of our health.
Right. So, and that's addressing the preventative side of things. And obviously that would make a big difference. So tell us a bit more then about what's involved in getting certified as a blue community, a blue zone community, and what it means then for, the day-to-day lives of citizens.
Well, I think they all align. So the digital health strategy is really, it gives people the options to choose to live a healthier life, whether it's food, whether it's exercise, access to health professionals, how you operate professionally, personally. It's just that immediacy of information. I was wearing my Fitbit, but my Fitbit's charging. But the Blue Zone piece is they were here for 4 days. They introduced the program. They've got 9 pillars that are associated with this evolvement within a community, and it impacts everybody. So employers, it impacts your restaurants, it impacts your supermarkets, it impacts your, most importantly, your residents and community members to live a healthier life. And it's really access to information that provides benefit to them and their families. And honestly, they're going to get back to us. So they've left with an audit of Airdrie, 4 days meeting with our community leaders and residents, and we had people from the mayor of Crossfield was there, and people from all over coming in to see what Blue Zone was, and they're going to come back to us. And our next meeting, I believe, is in the next 3 to 4 weeks, where they're going to say, because they want to make certain that Airdrie is a fit for Blue Zone and that they're ready for us, because we would be their first foray outside of the USA, which, so it's quite exciting.
Yeah, it is. Well, let's take a time out here. We're going to come back. We'll continue our conversation here as part of Mayor's Day, focusing on Airdrie with Airdrie Mayor Peter Brown. Our number here, 974-8255. That's 403-974-TALK. My name is Rob Breakenridge. This is Afternoons on 770 CHQR. It's Mayor's Day here on 770 CHQR as we focus on some of the stories, some of the challenges from Calgary's neighbors. An opportunity in this hour to learn more about Airdrie. Of course, to Calgary's north, Airdrie Mayor Peter Brown is in studio with us, talking about some of the issues and challenges Airdrie is facing. And something I think all municipalities are trying to get a handle on is cannabis legalization, what that's going to look like, and where municipal governments have a role to play on the regulation side. Where is Airdrie at?
Well, it's coming to council. We've been extensively visiting with our community through telephone surveys, online surveys, and at different trade fairs, and certainly we've had a number of open houses to collect data, and it's mixed on where it can be consumed. I think the only consistent messaging that I saw was obviously distance from schools and healthcare facilities and senior centers and things of that nature was very consistent, but it was very 50-50 on a number of other things. How many businesses could be located in community, where you could grow and sell the product, that's sort of thing. So it'll be very interesting to see how we do it. I just hope that all of us, I understood Calgary was having a zero tolerance in their public spaces. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you're going to enforce that, because it's out there now in different areas of the community. Certainly, right. You certainly smell it when you're riding your bicycle or whatever, and walking through parks. You certainly see it. So that's one of the challenges. Is always what's enforceable and what will work. You can put rules in place all day long, but if they can't be enforced, then I have a trouble with those.
So then, in terms of approving retail outlets, have there been applications? Are there businesses or would-be business owners who are looking to establish cannabis retail in Airdrie? So
we've had, I'm guessing, at least 6 or 7 interested parties to date. There's a lot more than that. I know in certain communities, I understood in Lloyd, they're doing a lottery system because they're only going to have so many locations, and they had over, I think, 150 different people interested. In Airdrie, we definitely have great interest. That's going to be determined not at this coming council meeting. There'll be some recommendations on how to move forward, and there'll be some consensus among council how we want to move this forward. The final decisions, we're going to have a public hearing for our community members to come in, voice their concerns, and then most likely we'll put some bylaws in place. Because the legislation is coming down the pipe rather quickly, could be moving through the Senate here in the next couple of weeks.
Indeed. Well, and there's been that ongoing consultation. Have you found that there's a lot of interest from the public on this?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We had boards up with the little stickies at the Home and Garden Fair, and they were full after an hour of people walking by. So it's been a lot of interest, absolutely.
A somewhat related issue, the issue of crime. I mean, I think one of the attractive aspects to communities like Airdrie is that it's a safe place to raise your family. I know certainly what we've heard in more rural areas over the last couple of years has been an uptake in crime, property crime in particular. Has that been an issue in Airdrie at all?
Certainly in certain pockets throughout the city where, as you grow, you continue to have some of the bigger city challenges, and certainly that's been our case. What's really good to know, though, is 97% or 98% of our residents feel safe in our community, and that's really important. And we do an annual survey with our community members. But yes, property break-ins, car break-ins, things like that, they're happening. But then when you look at the reasons behind them, a lot of our vehicular break-ins are usually the door's unlocked, or they've left something of value in the car. Because I guess what I'm hearing from our RCMP members is, these people that are doing these deeds, they're the ones that want easy access in and out and want to get things done quickly. So we always encourage residents to be safe. Lock your doors. Make sure your valuables in your trunk or in your home. Make sure the garage door opener is in a safe and covered place. But I think, for the most part, when we met with members of the community, when we've had an opportunity to talk about direct crime as it relates to their communities, they've actually left and said, geez, I didn't realize you were doing that. Oh, I didn't realize you were doing this. Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't know that one of your members actually lives on our street. So I think we do a really good job. Can we be a little bit better? I think what we have to be is more proactive with our communication to our community members, and we're working on that. We're hoping to do a biannual open house for our detachment commander, our leadership at the City of Airdrie, myself, members of council, so that we can hear from the public, we can gather their concerns, and hopefully address the issues that are most important to them. Well,
when you talk about those big city issues, and it's been a big factor in Calgary, has been the opioid crisis. as a driver of some of these crimes. Do you get the sense that that's spilling over into communities like Airdrie?
Certainly, we have challenges with the opioid, but not to the same extent, obviously, to some of our larger neighbors. But I would say my understanding is there's a bit of that, but not to an enormous extent, no.
You know, the broader question of being a neighbor to a big city and Calgary being the big fish in terms of, Calgary setting the agenda on economic issues or other policy issues. Is it a case that communities like Airdrie take the cue of what Calgary's doing? Do you often find yourself in a position saying, well, maybe if Calgary's doing this, we should take a different path instead? How do you manage that relationship and the realization that what Calgary does, has an impact?
Well, obviously, with the implementation of the Growth Management Board, which is sort of in its infancy now, I would say that it's more administrative. So our economic development team would be working collaboratively with Calgary and Rocky View and other jurisdictions, and same for infrastructure. So right now we've got we're looking, because the government has only, as you know, a very small pot of money. So for every dollar, we're all fighting for that dollar. And what we've decided is we're always waiting for something. So what we'd like to do, we went to the Minister of Transportation per se, and Mr. Mason said, why don't we prioritize our work? So instead of you telling us where the next $40 million overpass or 70 or 125, whatever the number is, we'll get together with our neighbors and we'll tell you where to invest that money. And that's working right now. So we're really excited about some of those changes. I know the Growth Management Board, again, it's in its infancy, but the great part about it is that we're going to have 10 neighboring municipalities that are going to work on making sure that we're planning our communities the right way. We're ensuring we're doing it the most cost-effective way. Most importantly, that it's to the benefit of the residents and the businesses who are going to utilize that. So that's for me, that's really exciting moving forward, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of those outcomes in the very near future.
Right, because Airdrie and other communities obviously have a vested interest in Calgary doing well, and there's a ripple effect. But at the same time, when it comes to an individual business, if a small business owner is going to pick Airdrie over Calgary, then all the better, right? So how do you be competitive in that sense?
Well, we have no business tax. I believe there's a business tax in other jurisdictions, so I won't compare. But, and there may be some land value opportunities. I don't know what their assessment rates are, but I used to say in the Calgary Regional Partnerships is, you know what? If you manufacture the plastic bags in Strathmore and we make the boxes to go in those bags, I'm happy you've got that manufacturing facility. So there's a way to do this regionally, because when you're out in the open, when you're in the world right now and you're selling your city, and Calgary is an amazing city. I was just telling you, just driving out here, just seeing some of the stuff I haven't seen on 17th Ave for a long time. It's a first-class city. I'd like to see it as a first-class region, because there may be some things in Calgary that doesn't work for a business, or in Airdrie. Maybe it's good in Cochrane. Maybe it's good in Rocky View. I don't know. And that's kind of the exciting part about all this transition and this collaboration.
What about, the issue, and it's the same with Okotoks and Cochrane too, that a lot of folks who live in those communities work in Calgary, going in and out of Calgary every day, and it can be a sore spot, I think, for the city of Calgary, in that, they're not collecting tax revenue from those people who are using Calgary infrastructure. But is it something that matters to Airdrie one way or the other?
Well, I can tell you that 50% of our business owners are people that are coming from outside of our community every day. We have about 45 to 50% of people that transition into Calgary. But I would argue that they eat lunch here, they do their shopping here, they spend lots of money, they own Flames tickets, and they go to football games, and they utilize a lot of your economics here. And I would say that we contribute millions into the coffers of the city of Calgary based on how many people. I know there's people within this building, Rob, that live in Airdrie, but they do a lot of their socializing, or they go to dinner, or they do whatever. So I think it's a shared value, and yeah, there's some pressure on infrastructure, but that goes both ways. We have many people coming in and out of our community from all over, and as I say, if we're collaborating and we're understanding each of our challenges and we're trying to do the best things for everyone, then that's the way we should be moving forward.
What's your sense of why people make that choice, that if they work in Calgary, they live in Airdrie?
You know what I hear is we're still a very, when I moved there, you couldn't buy children's clothing. There wasn't a store in 2002. Now, after all of this wonderful growth, for the challenge that we face sometimes because of growth, we have some great amenities. We have all the stores that we need. We have all the stuff that's available. You can shop, you can live, you can work, live, and play in Airdrie. But I think, again, sorry, to your question, I've lost my thought. What was your question again?
Well, just in terms of the advantage of living in Airdrie, living outside of Calgary.
So from what I hear from people that come into Airdrie, there's multiple choices of housing. Apparently, we're a little bit more affordable. They like the small town feel. Everything's in close proximity. The best part about it is we have a regional transit service now. We have a lot of people that live in Airdrie that work at the Airport Authority or WestJet or Air Canada. It's easy access in and out. It's only 10 minutes. So I just think it's a wonderful place to live. The one thing that drives Airdrie for me always, it's the people that live there. And you were talking about, Ryan, and the Humboldt tragedy and watching people come together to help individuals who have fallen is absolutely extraordinary. I go to events every week and I see the giving and the generosity of time, money, and spirit. Airdrie is a place to be.
Yeah, no doubt. 403-974-8255. We'll pause here for the 2:30 news. We'll come back. We'll have some more time with Peter Brown. He is the mayor of Airdrie. As we have Mayor's Day here, 770 CHQR, on the focus on Airdrie in this hour. We are back with more right after this. All right, we're back in conversation with the Mayor of Airdrie, part of Mayor's Day coverage here on 770 CHQR. Peter Brown is in studio with us. Here's a text. I got something nice to say to you, Peter. It says, I'm an Airdrie citizen. I'd like to say I appreciate Mayor Brown has personally addressed my concerns over streetlight changes. I'm glad to have someone who listens. Is that something that matters to you then, that you're able to, people got a concern that they can come to you or get through to you, talk to you?
Well, it's a double-edged sword because I can tell you our city manager doesn't always like it, but I have an open door policy. So anybody who communicates with the mayor's office, they get a call back or they get an email back or they can set a meeting, and I'm happy to do it. I serve at the pleasure of the residents and businesses in our community, and that's what I believe when I got elected, and I'll keep believing till the end of my term.
Well, let's go to the phones here, 974-8255. Tracy, welcome to the program.
Hi, Rob, Mayor Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to discuss the issue on crime, and yes, the mayor has always had an open door policy. However, in our community, I'm scared to even walk outside, and the city has closed the doors on us and sent us horrible letters telling us that we can't contact the city anymore, and I'm just disappointed in the fact that the mayor allowed that to go on.
In Airdrie?
In Airdrie. Every day we're harassed, every single day.
Well, have you contacted the police?
Yeah, the RCMP are involved, and the city is well aware of it.
Okay.
The mayor knows what I'm talking about, and then was sent horrible letters. As a taxpayer, I can't contact my city anymore.
Okay. What's the nature? Are you talking about you're being victimized somehow? Property crime?
Being victimized every day.
By who?
Well, we were assaulted in our home by a person who lives across the street. They continue to constantly break the bylaws, shine headlights in our house. We have a telescope. They have a telescope in their bedroom windows. Yesterday we were outside doing our yard work, and the fellow came towards us on his rollerblades. We can't even go outside. We live like prisoners in our home. And at first, yes, the mayor was very open to it, but now the city has totally swept it under the rug, and we have nowhere to go anymore.
Okay, Tracy, I appreciate the phone call. Look, and I think for me, I want to hear from the police on this kind of incident and how they've handled it or how they're dealing with it. I don't know if you can add anything to that, Peter. I don't know.
Hi, Tracy.
Or she's not there.
She's not there.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of the situation. Unfortunately, at times, certainly in this situation, there's some neighbors that do not get along and haven't got along for many years. And what's happened is it's evolved past what the municipality can enforce. So the RCMP, it's now rolled into a criminal investigations. It's in the criminal courts. There's lawsuits pending. Without going into great detail, that's outside of the realm of the municipality. And once it's gone into that side into the courts, then we are removing ourselves and allowing the RCMP to do their job.
Yeah.
And as you heard, those were clearly issues pertaining to the RCMP and not the municipality.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like a messy situation, but hopefully police
It certainly is. And Tracy's a wonderful lady, and I've been to her house and I've met her husband, and we've met several times. But unfortunately, because it's escalated to this point, there's not a lot more that we can provide.
Yeah. I want to get back to some of the challenges around growth that Airdrie is dealing with, and other communities too, and it involves rec facilities. Now, Airdrie has Genesis Place, lovely facility, swimming pool, 2 arenas, but cities start to outgrow that. I mean, is this something now that Airdrie's at the point where you got to look at building more, adding more of that capacity?
Well, right now we're in the throes of developing the new library community space / community space. That's going to be, you'll see more details coming forward through the summer. We've also earmarked another recreation facility in the southeast of the city. That's probably not going to be in play probably for 3 to 5 years on a guess. We're certainly not at capacity through the day, but certainly there's pressures on, and we were talking about earlier about municipalities sort of sharing things, and I would argue that we have many Calgary residents who are members of Genesis Place's Talisman Center, or sorry, not Talisman Center anymore, but the facilities here in Calgary allow our residents to come and utilize their fitness facilities, as well as Cochrane and other jurisdictions around the Calgary area.
Yeah, you mentioned the library plan. Does that involve a broader vision for downtown? Is it important to ensure that as Airdrie grows along the edges, that downtown still matters?
100%. And part of our council strategic priorities, are one of the 6 items on there, is looking at strategic partners for downtown enhancement. I don't know whether we want to call it redevelopment, but certainly enhancement. And obviously the library we'd like to see located in the downtown. And again, you'll see some announcements coming forward in the coming months. But it's certainly important to the businesses that are down there. We have some empty lots. We'd like to see those lots filled with some assessment and some opportunities for people to be employed, and obviously create that vibrancy. And I think you're going to see more of that vision come to play. We've had our downtown visioning exercise going on for the last probably year or so, and there's been lots of contribution from both business owners and community members to see, okay, what do we want down there? How can this look better? What do we need to do? How can the city partner in something and making it better? So there'll be some exciting stuff coming forward in the next 6 to 12 months.
All right. Well, airdrie.ca, right?
Yes.
People want to find out more about what's going on in Airdrie. Peter, I really appreciate coming in here today. Thanks so much for this.
Thank you for organizing this. This is great. Really appreciate it.
That is Peter Brown. He is the mayor of Airdrie. Don't forget, Angela has the mayor of Cochrane coming up after 3 o'clock. And, of course, much more to get to regarding the Trans Mountain Pipeline and the big announcement today from the federal government. 974-8255 is our number. We are back with more right after this.